Hi guys, Bitcoin Bankers here, and we're going to have a look at the market today. We're going to have a look at Bitcoin and jump into the charts and see what's going on over the Christmas period, and we're going to speculate on what's probably likely to come up very shortly. So let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see, over the Christmas period, there's been a lot of people coming out doing all their usual FOMO. You know, Plan B's got a new price prediction now. Oh, good for him. You know, now we're seeing all this crazy shit again. 279,000. Whatever. You know, you just can't make targets like this. Here's our buddy. You know, this is worth watching if you watch this one. It's what you got to get to know. I watch a lot of his videos and a few others. Go back and watch my previous video. And I talk about a lot of things that you really need to take a new perspective in dealing with Bitcoin and trading in general. Alright. So we get our FUDs and our FOMOers and all this sort of thing. Alright. Oh, it's always super cycle. Everyone's bullish even when, you know, these people lose 50 grand and they're still bullish. You know, it's just crazy. It just keeps pumping and pumping and pumping. And all this area. I can't believe nobody's talking about this Bitcoin Ethereum. Well, everyone's talking about the fucking chart. You know, it's just, come on. This guy is a goon. He's so full of shit, man. Anyway, these are the usuals. They're coming out talking all this nonsense, you know, and they are using your hope on these big crazy prices, and you're gonna make $1 million, you're gonna be rich as fuck, and all this kind of stuff. Oh, just hang on another month, hang on another week, wait up, it's coming, it's coming. It's always around the corner, but never arrives. Yeah. You know, we have these moves, and they have these moves, and blah blah blah. So anyway, let's have a look at what Bitcoin is really actually doing on a larger scale. You know, I'm on the daily at the moment. And we've been seeing this big rise up. This is a huge rise, creating a big kind of, well, now because of these tops, it's created more of a wedge than it has an ascending triangle. Now, a lot of people follow patterns, and you can follow those patterns. I follow patterns a little bit, but I'm losing trust in them a lot because now the way that the markets are moving, and with the money makers or market makers involved to such a big degree, you really don't know where this thing's going. It can go anywhere, just like any stock can go, you know. And you've got to realise that the market makers who work for the exchanges and whoever else, they are funded by Alameda. Is it Alameda or Alameda? Alameda Research, and this particular company funds the majority of exchanges. So they got millions of dollars, probably even a few billion. Right, so this is what they're staking on their side. They're staking billions of dollars against retailers who have very little, right? And these guys have set prices where they want things to move, and they manage the market. They are in control, okay? This is not some free-flowing random thing like Bitcoin used to be like that, but not so much anymore, okay? It's really changed a lot. Right? And you don't know, the majority of retailers don't know what's going on behind the scene because you don't check it out, right? You're listening to these half-wits instead of actually doing full-on research and finding out for yourself. They're finding out for themselves what's really going on, okay? So if you want to look at patterns, let's look at some patterns. We've got the large wedge over this large time scale of about a year. This was Christmas last year. I looked at this in my last video, and just looking at this, Christmas last year, we were in the middle of a really powerful uptrend. Alright, it was very bullish last year at this time. So we came up and the Christmas period slowed off. You can see that. And then on Christmas Day, she took off again and started rising up because it was a continuation of a bull market, right? It came and created this sort of pullback area and then kept going. But here's the important thing, and this is what you can really look out for. When you see things take a top like this, and you reach a high point and then start to pull back, and when it reaches a second high point, we know it's a double top, but here's the thing. What you're really looking at is 1, 2, 3. As you see these three peaks, you see that it's kind of dying off, right? And the market is getting exhausted, right? Especially after a massive bull run. This is when you see the market is getting exhausted, all right? And your top is here or here, and this is where you should be out, okay? Fair enough, you want to wait, but if you do wait, you want to, once it starts coming down below here, you really got to sort of make some decisions about taking a large amount of profit. I would probably take 70% off the table right there, right? And then let it come down. You probably put a bit more in, maybe, and then probably take the remainder here. But it is, as you know, when you're trading, it's very hard to know what you should really be doing because you've got all the FOMO pumping in your head. Everyone's extremely excited around this time, so you've got to make decisions that best for you, not what other people think is going to happen. All right, don't base your decisions on speculation. You've really got to get in and understand what the market's doing. What are the money makers doing? What are those who have liquidity and are providing liquidity to this market? What do they want? When it gets to here, they want profit. All right, so they're going to start putting in their shorts. They probably put shorts in along here, and bang, they dump it down. All right, and then they did the same thing again because they knew everyone was excited. Right, got to here, exhausted. Like this point here was when everyone really thought Bitcoin was heading to 100,000. What happened? The air came out. The market makers took their profits and pushed the market down. While everyone was in. Right, they pulled off some big shorts and everyone got hit. And here we are now. Okay, so that's your summary. So looking at patterns, right, head, shoulder kind of pattern. Everyone thought it was going to play out, and then the market makers suddenly jumped in, and it just took off. Right now, we got this new. Right, we got head, shoulder, and now it's coming in for a new shoulder. Right. Probably pull that down a little bit lower. I should have pulled that down lower. Like this. So you've got this head and shoulder pattern playing out, right, on a larger scale. Now, if you can't see this is a head and shoulder pattern, you really need to go and learn a lot about trading a lot more and what these things usually mean and how they play out, right? Now, everyone's telling you that it's going to the moon, it's getting bullish, but what it's really doing is just fulfilling a pattern. And look what's happening today, right? We'll go down on a smaller scale shortly. But the market makers pushed this price right up into an area of liquidity where everyone was getting in. They tricked everyone that was getting in. Everyone's bought. They think it's going back up here. And it couldn't even crack, let's see. Couldn't even barely crack 52. Yeah? Everyone's saying 53, 55, 57. Didn't get there. Okay? It didn't get there. Now I'm going to remove this head and shoulders pattern thing. Alright? And I'll just delete this. Delete that. Come on, you silly thing. There we are. Alright, so we now have this most likely a head and shoulder pattern playing out. Now here's the thing. You can't say it definitely is a head and shoulders pattern, right? Because we don't know what comes next. Alright? This could suddenly get a huge pump and we do get back up into this range and head off to 100,000. Or we could get a massive dump and come down and hit the $40,000 mark. Right? No one really knows. It's all speculation, okay? And this is what the market makers are trying to do, right? They think you out, man. They play with your head, right? But here's a bit of a clear sign. And you can see it's getting really bearish now. And if you have a look at my other videos, I've been saying this area, this whole area in here needs to get filled out, all right? But I'll come to that in a minute. So we got these big kind of, look like was probably stop hunts. Yeah? Bang, bang, they're taking people out. Bang. Right? Anyone that's in a short, bang, bang, they're taking them out. Then they go into the short. Right? They do a stop hunt low for anyone who's been getting in. They take out the people who've gone long. They take out your short and your stop loss. Yeah? Then they pump it up again. Everyone jumps in thinking it's going up, and then they shit on you one more time. Right? Now this is getting really heavy, starting to dump quite a lot now. Remember, this is on a daily time frame. You can see it moving pretty heavily, right? So this is what the market makers do. Okay, they get everyone full of fear and afraid, thinking it's going to dump, and then boom, and then all the YouTube influencers get all hard-ons, and they think it's going to shoot back up here. And we're off to the races. But all they're doing is just pumping it up to get everyone interested. Everyone buys in, and then they dump on you. Okay, I know. I used to trade on all those platforms, and that's what used to happen all the time, right? So we've got all this liquidity, people making orders and all sorts of things in here, people thinking it's going to come down, so we've probably got a lot of shorts in here. Okay, so they're going to come down, whack it out, have another pump, and then come back down again, right? That's what they're likely to do. Now, as I've talked before, when you get these really big spike downs, the spike at the bottom of the wick is usually an indicator of where price is likely to go down. That's why I've been saying I think it's going to go down. This area has to get filled out, and then it'll probably continue down here. We've seen it on this one a couple of times. Here's your big spike, come right down to here. It came up, it played in this range for about a month, came back and played in this range, filled it out. Here's, that was your bottom spike there. Pretty much came right down, took out that whole area, right? Because everyone would have been having shorts there thinking it was going to go right down and crash, and then they flipped it and pushed it right up, okay? This is what they do. Because it happened to me hundreds of times. This area didn't get hit out because this was actually the result of COVID. So this was just a massive global collapse. It sort of fell down and it really just hasn't filled that area out. You had a V-shaped rally. That's understandable. But you keep going back and you'll see it. Here's where they stop people out at the top and then dump. Alright. Here you can see there's this wick. I'm just going to span it out a bit. We got these wicks when it came down from the 20,000, came pumping back up. And look what it did. Eventually works its way back down to the bottom. Yeah? And then here even just dumped down even further. So it's the way it happens, guys. You want to see a pattern, that's the pattern you look for. Yeah? Look for these areas getting filled out. They've got to be completed. Even here, look, bang, came down, pumped back up, came down, took that area out and hit the support line. Right? Dipped again, stayed, and then off it went. Okay, they're the patterns you should be looking for. Another pattern, look for these double spikes. Yeah? Usually it's 2, sometimes 3. Right? When they start pushing it down, and then they sort of fill out that region, and then pump it up a little bit. So you've got to recognise how the trend is working for you. Okay. Now, let's get to our current price where we are now. Okay, we have the daily Stochastic Rsi that is looking very bearish. It's come over, it's fulfilled. All right, volume's dropping off. We had all this buy, and now volume is starting to pull back a bit. And people say volume's not important. Well, volume is important in telling you when a trend is weakening. Okay, so it does have its relevance. It just depends how you trade. You might not even need this at all, but it's a good indicator if you're trading on a shorter term or even longer term, where things are about to turn and how relevant it is. You have the True Strength Index. This is one that I use as well. It kind of shows you more about, like, you can see these are kind of happening a little bit in contrast to each other. This is sort of getting bearish and selling off, but there's still strength. So what that's saying is that the majority of money is still sort of having enough, they're getting out, they're selling, and probably more your market maker is starting to sell, but the retail investor still thinks it's going up. So they're still putting money in, thinking it's going to go up and hoping it's going to go up, right? So the weakness is that the retail trader is trying to push this up, but all in all, we know it's overbought. And it's clearly overbought. It's going to have to start selling, yeah? And what's it doing? It's selling off. We had these peaks, 1, 2, even 3. Okay, so let's go down to the lower time frame and see what's going on. Let's go to the 4 hour now and have a quick look. Okay, so the 4 hour, that's been hit hard with some selling as well. Okay, and I'm just going to show you now the book map. You can look this up and just watch it live. You don't have to buy it, but if you want to purchase this, I think you can get a free version of it. But you can also just look at it online. Just go into live book mapping, and you can have the book map. Now, what this does is basically show where the liquidity is, all right, where a lot of orders are, and this is what the market makers are going after. Now, you can see last night there was quite a fair bit up here, and they came in, they took it out. There's a lot of orders here. There's still this range up here, but not a lot, not compared to down here. So they're moving in, they're taking that, and they're pushing it down. they're selling off, you know, they put in all their sell orders. People are jumping in and they get ripped off, okay, because I think it's going up. And then it's come down, and there's a whole lot of liquidity here, and down further, 49, and there's more down here. You can see also these bars showing that there's much more sort of selling activity going on here. And the market makers are really moving into this zone now. They're eating up all that. So they'll probably, I think, come down and eat this more. Okay, and then we might see a bit of a bounce up. There's nothing in this region, but it might come back. You can see it's still a little bit there. They might come and try and grab for this, but I think more likely they're going to come down and just start eating up all the orders down here. All right. So, on a larger scale, I said this the other day. I said it's probably going to come down, break through here, do a little fake out. It faked out a bit more than I thought it would. I expected it to just sort of run down and come back down in. I think what it more is likely to do now is sort of come back down, touch this line down here, and maybe just kind of work its way down. Look at my pencil. I think it's probably more or less just going to come down like this. And once it gets to this point, it'll either drop down or it might start to work its way up. But let's just work on one part at a time. Let's just see if it comes down and stays on top of the line, or does it come down and go back down into this range? If it goes into this range, it's going into 35. If it stays on top, it'll stop around the 40. I think. Me speculating, just guessing. And we're looking out over the next 3 weeks, so it's very hard to tell what the price is going to do. But these are the two options. Will it shoot up? It might have a little shoot up here and try and stay in there. You know, your retail market will probably try and keep this price up. But once everyone starts to realise this is coming back down more and more, then you'll start, you know, the selling will start to cascade and everything will start kicking in. All right. Here's another thing. Look at the. Hang on, get rid of this. Look at this. This is the. We see it's overbought and starting to come into that range where they, you know, you're going to get a bit of support here, but we decide whether it's going to keep going down. But if you look at your true strength index, does that look bullish to you? Does that look like, this is a 4-hour chart, does that look like it's going to spend the next 2 or 3 days, even the next 24 hours, heading up to 200,000, heading up to 70,000, heading up to 60,000? No, of course fucking not. Now, if you think it is, you're stupid. So this is technical analysis. We don't know 100%, but probabilities are it's going to keep selling off. It's coming down. It's even making a head and shoulders here. Look. One, there's your shoulder. Here's your flat top, your double top. Comes down, probably make a shoulder here, and then bang. Okay? It's just, you know, it's obvious to point all this out. When you're in the trade, it's a lot harder. Look at this selling off. I'm on a 4-hour chart. This thing's dumping like crazy. Look. Just eating it all up. Eating it all up. All right? Let's go. If I go to a 1-hour chart, okay, when you start seeing the smoother line curling over, and this one's trying to come back up, sometimes I do make it up, but it generally that's going to come down a lot harder. All right, you're going to see this coming down a lot harder. All right, so I'll get rid of these 2 lines here because we don't really know. All right. Now, if you want to see what the market makers are doing, I'm going to go back to the 4-hour. Right. I think we've done a pretty good analysis of Bitcoin now, so you should be able to decide where it's going. Yeah? And while this is happening, while I'm talking, it's quite interesting. I want to get this up to the web as soon as possible because I'm recording this. So look at this. Look how hard this is starting to sell now. All right? Everyone's jumped in, and now they're selling on you. Right? So if you listen to Carl the Goon, and if you listen to Altcoin Daily, these clowns, Crypto Zombie, all these clowns, oh, is this the real reason for the dip? The reason for the dip is the market buyers pushed it up, right? The market makers pushed it up, get everyone in, and now they're selling off. Okay? That's the reason. There's no secret. There's no mystery. There's no whales are doing this. It's not whales. Whales don't sell. They just buy shitloads and hold it for 5 years. Okay? There's not big whales out there playing around with bloody, you know, $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, they might dump some, and yeah, there was a couple of fellas that dumped 82,000, but I think they're more market makers. They're not whales, okay? Whales hold the money, you know, they hold on to it. They don't want to be dumping large portions of it because it could be hard to get back, right? And if you dump 82,000 worth of Bitcoin, you're going to have to buy it back at some point, and that would certainly, if it did this, when you sell it, it's obviously going to do the same when you buy it. And that's what they want you to believe. It's not. It's market makers, all right? This is their job. They keep it fluid. Everything was overbought here. Bitcoin had just gone up to, what, $69,000 from $12,000. That's a 5x move. That's massive, okay? And now they're taking their profits and they're pushing the price back down. It's just the way they work, all right? Okay, there's no magic number, and there's if you listen to all these idiots, hang on, he keeps telling you to hang on. All right, if you follow these guys, you end up broke. Right, especially this idiot. Right, let's have a look. I know I divert onto these guys. These guys really shit me off. They really shit me off. These guys. I can see Bitcoin's about to pump. No, it's not pumping. Look, I can't believe my eyes. He's just a moon boy. He's full of shit. Don't trust anything this guy says. Right? He's wrong 90% of the time. The only time this guy is right, and the only time most of them are right, is when Bitcoin is shooting up here like this. And everyone's right in that kind of market. It's so easy to call. But no one can call the downs. When the price is really actually doing interesting things, no one knows what the fuck it's doing. Why? Because the market makers are in control. Alright? So here's our market makers. Let's see, it's a good time. Alright. So let's have a look what happened. This is courtesy of Traders Reality. Get over to tradersreality.com, get over to his channel and subscribe to his channel. Traders Reality, alright? I'll show you. This guy. Bitcoin Traps again. This is a channel that you really should be watching and learning from, okay? So you can see, if we look at the 4 hours still, okay? They've come in, they've got everyone to buy in, blah, 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 blah. It kind of hit the 200 here, right? Couldn't really break over it, pulled back, it dumped down, went for another shot. By the time it got to here, this blue candle's showing that it's more of a bearish momentum. It's going to, the money is changing from one side to the other. Sometimes it can indicate that it's getting more bullish, so you wait, right? It came up, it hit the 800, right? Pulled back, it got everyone involved, and then dumped, right? Like clear reversal candle. If you don't know what a reversal candle is, probably shouldn't be trading yet. You should spend 5 or 6 months learning paper trade, read your books, read as many things as you can, learn candlesticks, practice, 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 and then take small entries and exits, okay? Learn to do it slowly. Don't rush in and try and make millions of dollars. Your target should probably be try to make $100 a week, right? Just try to make $100 a week on some trades, right? Just small trades, depending how you're trading. You know, like when the market is really bullish, buy in, hold it, and let it go for a good run. You know, you might make a few thousand, you know, depending on the size of your entry, you know. But when times like this, which is 80% of the time, the market is always moving like this, yeah? So you've got to know how to make money in these times, not just lose it. Because most of the time, people lose most of their money in this kind of time, all right? So, let's have a look at the daily again, just at this. And you see the same thing, right? There's not a lot of what he calls vector candles. This is a vector candle, right? It's telling you where the price has gone and where it's aiming to be. There's a price there. It's ended here. It's come back up. And here is your range, right? 53 to 42. Okay, and this is the range that it's played out in. The moving average has kept it down. This is the range it's been playing out in for months. Right? How long now? 4th of December. Okay. We're now 28th of December. So about 3 weeks, this is where it's been playing out. It has not moved outside this range, has it? And we haven't even cleared this range here. Right? We haven't filled anything in there. We haven't come down in this price. It's just been holding here the whole time, which is really unusual. Normally it gets to here and it crashes or it gets weak, yeah? But here we are. Alright. The 1 hour. So there's our big sell. Right. Come down, it's now just hit the psychological low, but it's also hit the 200, okay, 200 moving average. And it's gearing up, it's very bearish, it's starting to move downward. So I think we can see a little bit of a bounce here maybe, not much. Let's go to a lower time frame. Okay, so you're starting to see a bit of a bounce. It'll probably come up and play in this range here and keep going down, I think, you know, because they've basically just cleaned out. Let's go back to an hour. Right. They've cleaned out all the people who got in here, and now they're going for the people who sort of got in back down here and made their entries here and here, eventually. Once it breaks this 200, I think she'll come down pretty quick. Alright. So anyway, this is going on a little bit long. I'm going to turn this off. Let's just quickly do some other coins. Let's have a look at DOT. Most of these coins are just going to be following Bitcoin. You see the same thing happening over and over. Alright. Let's go to a longer time frame, because we like to know what's coming up a little bit further ahead. So it's had a fair bit of a sell-off. I think a little bit of a bounce back, a retracement, trying to take some profit back. I don't think it'll last long. Let's see. So this is a pretty strong area of support right across here. But I think it looks like it's more or less making a head and shoulders. Yeah? Shoulder, head, shoulder, down. So could see a bit more downside in the market just yet. Probably the next month we're going to have to let this play out. Alright. Just have a quick look at the weekly on this. Yeah, weekly's like Bitcoin. You know, they're all following Bitcoin, guys. Everything's just following Bitcoin. Let's have a look at Engine. But I'll go to the daily. I like the daily or the 4 hour. Solana, we'll go Solana. So, getting ready for a big sell. Okay, on the daily. The 4 hour. Still selling off. Yeah. So if you wanted to short, you probably would have got in. You'd be better off getting in around here. Yeah, but that's a. If you got in around there, it's an $8 move. So if you had $100 on it, it's moved $8. You've probably done pretty well. Still more room for the downside, definitely. I think. Just be careful where you got support. Once it breaks support around this range, you might be able to get more of a dip to about here. Yeah? So Solana, on a longer scale, is probably heading back down to 176. Alright. Ethereum, let's do Ethereum. It's pretty much the same as Bitcoin. Okay, it's still in this, if you want to call it a symmetric triangle. Okay, still getting a lot of support around here, but it looks like this support's about to break. So just be careful there. Probably come down, hit the 3863 area, and then probably come up, hit this 39, and then down she goes. So I think we're going to have a bit more of a sell-off yet. I don't think it's going to be a major bad sell-off. Maybe this from Ethereum looking here, it doesn't look good. I don't think it'll come all this way down. There are support areas, 34. Okay. XRP. So it's broken down under this previous line of support. Okay. Like I said, I'm on the 4 hour guys at the moment. So I think more selling off. So it's coming into a bit of a bearish trend here. Maybe a little bit of a shorting options over the next 8-12 hours. Should be able to get some nice little shorts in. Let's play them carefully. There is a bit of support around here, so I might come back down the 82 cent mark. I won't be trading any of this myself, more than likely. I'm not on any exchanges that do shorts at the moment. Basically because, I don't know, I just like to be as careful with my money as possible. I would like to get back into trading. There are some good opportunities, but at the moment, guys, the market is really, it's a pretty unsafe area, you know. Here's a market book again, the book map. There's some big sells coming in there, you can see. Right. That was for Bitcoin. Let's have a look at SHIB. Okay, again, they're all following the same trend. When Bitcoin goes down, they all pretty much go down. They've all come into a pretty overbought area. Same with the TSI. And once that TSI starts looking like that, that gets pretty bad. So we might have a bit of a nasty run. Anyway, guys, I want to get this uploaded. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.